looking things
Hi,
up.
this is Damien from AtHope, and I'm an axiological atheist, and we're going to start the meeting.
What's new, Scott?
Okay, look,
Orthodox atheist.
can we ask this, if we, other than looking something up, can we ask to maybe have an electronics free or you know...
That's great.
Is that usually what happens, kind of?
Love to be on their phones. I'm guilty of that.
I don't have one myself, sorry.
You don't have a smartphone?
You don't?
But he has a cell phone.
Folks,
I already have it with me.
hello? Can we do something with like the Austrians do, which is like when we have a meeting, can we be present as human beings and put our phones face down on the table and not use them?
Is that what Austrians do?
That's what they do in Austria.
Let's be Austrian today.
Okay, let's be human beings. Unless we're looking something up.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what
Okay, that's okay, but like as like not looking up our email,
We're not talking
Okay.
to someone else at the moment. No, we're still talking.
or checking our tweets. Is that
We received the message.
okay?
We're just
Is that
reading
fair?
something
Is
that
that agreed? Is that agreed? Okay.
Tell me your name again.
Candace, I have a name.
Your tag is falling down on your arm.
Are we being taped by any chance? I would like to know if this is being taped.
My face is being taped.
And everything
In
we
the
say?
conversation.
Yeah, talk about it, yeah.
Well, did you ask people's permission to do that?
Well, I've videotaped here last time I came here, and I do it everywhere I go.
Didn't ask them permission.
People can't, I don't tell people where, all I tell people online is it's HARP. Humanism, Rationalism, Atheism, Philosophy, which is my meetup group. And that's all I say to this. So no one knows where I'm at except that I live in Seattle. And it's all in my face.
But they can hear me.
Well, they don't know who you are.
Okay, so if you're listening, NSA, hi,
I'm not whoever, right?
I'm an atheist.
Did you find what you like?
They can voice print us, probably.
Do you have any non-dairy free stuff? It's black coffee.
They can focus on me. I have my face. I have my name. I use my real name on Facebook.
What's new in atheist land?
I went to a convention,
What convention?
the American Atheists in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah?
Do you want to alter my?
And what goes on there?
My dollar?
Well, I went to the first day. I went to different like workshops where we learned stuff like how to debate Christians.
Very good. Did you give some tips?
Quake.
It was more fun. I debate.
I wish I had. Thank you.
I debate them a little bit different than some other atheists do, anyway. So they do. It was more about apologetics kind of stuff. I'm not really that into apologetics.
Me neither.
Probably graduate school.
To me,
I don't give a fuck.
right. Well, because I think it's beneficial. It's just not my style. To me, I don't go into their fantasy. I make them come back to my reality.
Chocolate for choice.
How's that working out?
Well, speaking of which, I turned. Yeah, not very easy for everybody, obviously. I did turn a person. I was at the meeting. I sat down out like in the lobby, and
Oh, you know Abby.
this lady next to me
Lucky you.
said she was a Christian.
Years.
Jerry, let's not talk
So
about
what's she
that.
doing
No,
as an
it's
atheist?
been many years.
Well, it's at a
because
hotel.
she pulled on me.
So at
What
the
she
hotel,
pulled
and,
on some other people,
she
and then I
started asking, "Why is
I knew
everybody
it was
here?"
coming
I'm like,
because
atheists.
you know, like tigers change their
Educate,
spots.
Yeah, so I said,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like
"Can
I
ask what
kind
an
of knew
atheist
the
is?"
day
And
was
she's
going
like,
to
"I know."
come.
She's good
So I
at
started
pulling.
telling her. I said, "Well, I don't speak
And
for
then,
everybody."
so what happened is she
So I don't know what other
got
atheists
mad
are.
at me
I can tell you what I am.
because she
I can
decided
tell you how
that she doesn't have an
the standard,
education.
general
So
opinion of
so
most
I
atheists.
disagreed with
Probably
her
be
on
this or that.
something, and then she got mad at me and told me that I was pulling authority on her, and I said to her, I am authority,
She doesn't like that.
and she got mad at me.
Oh my God! And I missed this. We missed it. Well, all recent. Yes.
But it was between two people.
It's nice to know that her persona and her values and her psychology haven't changed over the last 5 years.
Well, the thing that really upset me, and see, I thought that this was going to blow over. I thought maybe it wouldn't. But then the thing that really bothered me is that she started posting about it.
Oh,
And
yes.
that really bothered me. She started posting about it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
She's got
she's-
her own web.
Yeah, she started
has some
posting about it.
Yeah.
And that's what really bothered me. And so I had to disconnect. And I didn't have to do anything formal. I just withdrew. Because she didn't consider me important enough, whereas she considers, Bob important enough to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she
guide
didn't,
you.
she did
Yeah.
not consider
If you're
me.
important enough, she'll vilify you forever.
But it's not that I'm not important enough. She just didn't know anything about me.
Oh, is that the one that wrote all that nasty stuff that one time? Jerry, is that the one that wrote all that nasty stuff after that one debate?
Yes. Yeah, about Bob.
Where I was like, what the?
I'm published. I teach. People know who I am. So she just did not know how to put me in a category. So when I said to her that she was wrong, she didn't want to accept that.
The good thing about Abby is that she has finally managed to fit in well and actually become well established in one or more meetups where she's known, she's respected, and she actually fits in well, and her behavior isn't a problem for those people. So
Is it in like the WordPress meetups, that kind of thing?
Dear Abby, we're talking
In this case,
Abby, WordPress is where she posts a lot of her little anonymous blogs. I'm talking
I
about.
know she goes to some WordPress meetups. That's what I've done.
Okay, yeah, I'm just talking about a couple of Seattle atheist
Okay.
Seattle, a couple of meetups where she seems to fit in well.
Okay. Well, they're not ones I go to.
So I should tell you about the movie that Robin and I went to see together separately.
Oh, let's hear about this movie.
Awesome.
It was the second
Together
exotic
separately.
Marigold Hotel, and we agreed to go and see it at, I thought, apparently I wrote down an hour earlier in my date book than I was supposed to meet her. So I was wandering around waiting for Robin to show up at the movie theater.
And I was wandering around.
11:15 in the morning, and she showed up at 12:15 in the morning, wondering where I was.
You were in the same theater and we watched the same movie.
Yeah,
Which
they were
theater,
showing
which
it in
one?
two different. They were showing it in two different theaters, almost simultaneously.
Tell us about this movie.
Second Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Second Exotic Marigold Hotel. Okay, I haven't even heard of that.
You haven't heard? It's
like we were on a virtual
a
date.
bunch of 80-year-olds
Talking
who
about
go
it on
to
the
live
phone
in
afterwards.
India instead of living in England. They decide to retire in England. They find this old hotel in the first
And cotton chips. Sorry, we were out of the halibut.
Oh,
So
thank
is
you.
the iced tea kind of being brewed or
Oh,
something?
sorry. No.
Well, actually, that's why.
Delighted. So anyway, and the second one is really, it's like a little trip to India. I absolutely loved it because they show all the colorful street scenes. And you can't beat having a cast with Maggie Smith and Judi Dench and
Oh, yeah.
Bill Nighy and
Judy,
Bill Nighy.
And Richard Gere.
He's a British actor.
I love
Very
Judi
talented.
Dench.
Thank you.
Well, she and Maggie.
Lots of mayonnaise.
Plus it has Richard Gere in it, so the women
Oh,
are all
yeah, women are.
But it has
It's like I can never tell. There's like two kinds of sugar.
Why is Richard Gere such a thing for women?
I don't know, I can tell you that.
I should probably carry my own.
Giving up sugar, right? Part of my
Also in the movie, and he's absolutely drop dead.
Also giving up an area because that seems to be a culprit in not being able to lose weight. So
Jerry Bob.
Oh my God,
it's a very common culprit.
Did you know that David
I'm learning that something like 66% of people are sensitive to it.
It gives me a tummy ache.
No.
And it has given me a tummy ache for most of my life.
Always
does meet a lot of his girlfriends.
But do you know that when I was diagnosed with diabetes like 30 years ago, the physician told me that they thought that there may, they didn't know, but they continue to test on this, that they think that there's a relationship between, an epigenetic relationship between cow's milk and
Seafood.
type 1 does.
Is that right? I know. And epigenetics, so if my parents or your grandparents or whatever were drinking milk,
No, epigenetic would be if you have a genetic predisposition that the high protein, high sugar content of cow's milk would increase the likelihood that you would
That's one of my favorite.
type 1 later in life. Would develop type 1.
Down in Alabama or something.
Because there would be an environmental trigger.
well,
But and I was reading recently that there's actual funded research on that, but there was funded research at that point. So apparently there seems to be some reason to continue to research that.
I'm on this program called 2020 Lifestyles. The one and only thing at my health club. It's started by and so by going through this, I'm part of a scientific.
What's your usual?
I'm a guinea pig.
Oh,
What?
I'm a guinea pig.
What is that?
Guinea pig too.
What is that?
The FDA requires me to
Get some
report.
usual thing.
It's just sausage
It's
roll.
actually more than this. It's
a blanket.
an
Take it in a
artificial
blanket.
pancreas.
Stick in a blanket.
You don't
Take a
mind.
blanket. I watched that movie, something on the
This
Hudson.
is a continuous glucose monitor.
It was about FDR when
I'm also a
the Queen
cannabis
comes to
user.
visit on Hyde Park on the Hudson.
And it's not disgusting. It's not difficult to disorient. It's just connected little plastic. I have the continuous glucose monitor since
They've
February.
never been to America, and he's really nervous because his brother just abdicated and he's just become king. They think
I'm
that
actually,
war is coming, so they come
I'm not
visit.
sure my blood sugars are better, but I'm feeling better.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing. What am I signing?
I am feeling better, which is really interesting because I'm not sure my blood sugars are any more controlled.
If they just said to them, it's like bangers, they would have known exactly what they were.
Bangers. When I first came here, I didn't know what a banger was or rashers.
Whose petition is, who's circulating this?
Rashers and bacon.
Did they shut down the terrible beauty?
You're not a diabetic.
No.
Are you lucky?
Not that I know of.
Terrible beauty, the we used to eat.
Tempted.
Not that I know of, but they were never very
You gonna fit this?
busy.
I do.
I never met at the Terrible Beauty.
I don't want.
10,000 a day.
I don't want another
restaurant.
thing.
It was an Irish.
Oh, I
I
was
understand,
fatty,
having seen what you got.
fatty British food.
All right.
And it makes demands on me of all sorts.
Initiative 7.
It never hurts to put something on the ballot.
Impose a carbon emission tax.
It is, so their soda bread is
Fuel generated electricity.
Where do you live? Do you really? Crying out loud, most people don't live in Kirkland except Shelley and Jackson. They live in Kirkland.
Jerry, you're awful quiet today.
Juanita.
Okay.
Downtown Juanita. Well, a little, it's changing so fast. I've lived here since 1967.
This would translate to,
Or
on a
66.
personal level, how much.
I lived here since before there was Juanita High School, since before there was hospital.
Just $5 a gallon for gas.
Wow.
I'm sure that would be all clear once it got to the
Wind,
ballot.
solar, and biodiesel would be exempt, but biodiesel is still a
No, when
carbon.
I moved
Who's
here,
this?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it still produces,
Yeah, it's still a carbon. Yeah.
They see?
still produces,
Kingsgate and Queens.
Cardinals
Beautiful. I would love all those.
And did you want to eat or you can live there?
I'm good,
I just think
Old
gas is too
houses
cheap.
in downtown Kirkland that had been built during the
so
shipbuilding days.
we didn't bring it up Friday, have you been following
Bungalows
the
here.
whole thing in
Ketchup for the
It was
egg.
before
North
they
Charleston?
had,
No.
what
South
is
Carolina?
that thing that's
Oh, what's his name? The guy that got shot in the back.
down
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. It's really, really sad.
The old shipbuilding yards.
The guy shoots and walks away
Where
from him.
Caroline Point is.
I read the guy's history. It doesn't
so
warrant
if you're-
what happened.
If you were in downtown.
And by the way, the officer's been charged with murder. So that's the first thing that makes it at least somewhat satisfying, that this isn't going to play out like the other ones.
Had it not been for the
The last
video, he
major
wouldn't have been charged
area
for
where.
anything.
No. That's why they need to carry body cams. And the body cams have to be on, and they can't.
Right now they have the ability to turn them off.
They have to make it so they can't turn them
Where
off.
hell is.
And,
Yeah,
but
so
anyway,
it's like a
he
little
falsified the
enclave
police
of nice
report.
restaurants.
He planted evidence, he tampered with
He
evidence.
planted evidence?
Yes, he went over, picked up the stun gun,
We
brought
used
it
to have
back and
the
dropped it
main
next to the body.
dock was right down here, just
Then he
Okay.
falsified
He's
the
gonna
police
fry for
report.
murder.
was the main dock.
Over he told the dispatcher he was administering CPR, he was not.
You know what's really sad? On top of it all, his wife is 8.5 months pregnant.
Beyond belief.
Yeah.
It'd be so
The
cool if
victim
that
or
was.
the cop?
If they kept
The cops, yeah, the cop who got arrested,
I was
the guy who shot him, his wife is gonna have a baby in a couple of weeks.
So why do you call it the cop that shot him and not the murderer?
Yeah, you're right, I should call him the
I'm
murderer.
just saying it. We know he murdered him, so he's not. It's not the cop that shot him, as in it's not.
That we should treasure that place.
It's out
In
there.
other words, if we saw someone else do the same thing and it wasn't a police officer, we wouldn't say, "Well, you shot the person."
Well, because it's a cop problem.
To get people to
It's a cop problem.
save that place. Well, now
The
there's a
fact
guy
that he
on the
murdered
other
as a
side
cop
of
is a
Iron
cop
Juanita
problem.
Beach, just, I think,
Right.
to the
Yeah, which shouldn't be any special
west
rights.
of Juanita Beach.
No, not that you should get special
But that's the
rights.
problem, is
But
we've
it's a
given the
cop-
police the benefit of the doubt
Wants to
for
build
so
a
long.
dock
That's right.
And now we're seeing
for
that
commercial use.
that,
Out
that,
into the lake.
that trust was
And
misplaced.
he wants to be
Or has been
able to
misplaced
have people
quite
run their
frequently.
boats there and have boats for
And-
rent, I think. Anyway,
For
there's
example, there was a
Juanita
witness who
neighborhood
claimed,
meeting on Monday night at,
who was interviewed by the newspaper, said that they were administering CPR, that they were pumping his heart. He said that twice in the interview. Nowhere in that video did they do anything to administer first aid. So this eyewitness lied.
yeah,
So what's the right color?
you want a
So
boat
why
there,
would
that's
this
black and white.
eyewitness lie?
I want to
I hope the eyewitness gets fried for this too.
build that thing out, because it would mean more motorboats, more jet skis.
Was he fed this information by the cops?
I don't know.
But is it, I mean, there's probably a double thing going on here, which is that people who become cops have particular issues, but being a cop creates particular issues. So that you lose, you know, it's like, I had a really good friend who was a cop, and there were things about him that were clearly created by having been a cop.
On any sunny day, you
He
can
was
see
a
a whole
good
bunch of
person.
turtles. If you don't see
He was
anything
a
else,
really
you can see
decent,
a
he
bunch
was
of
an
turtles,
artist, okay,
And
who
you-
was a
and,
cop.
I
But
think
there
it
were
teaches
also
children
characteristics of
to
him that
appreciate
were clear,
whatever
there was a
wildlife
clear
we have left.
PTSD
And it's a
damage
place for the
from
critters.
copness. He was retired.
Juanita Bay Park is the best thing that's
So-
ever happened
so
to
it's
the
like-
community, I think.
it's-
And
I think it's
this
always
guy
the
wants to
case.
build
Do
a
you?
commercial
Yes.
That every
My-
cop has PTSD.
because he owns
Any cop, it's just like
apartment
any
buildings or
soldier who
complex
has
there
been in
next to
battle
Juanita
for more
Beach.
than
He wants to
200
build a pier
days
out
has
for commercial
PTSD.
That's a very interesting point.
So we need to protest that.
So how long do you have to be a cop, and what kind of experience do you have to have in order to have PTSD? I mean, it's been known since there was, since the Civil War, that if you've been in battle for X number of days, you're gonna have PTSD. They didn't call it that.
And I think that's
Massive recreation
you raise an interesting point in
would be
that
like something you would find on a
they're
luxury resort.
taking on the whole role of being a police or doing policing as a war.
Taxes,
And a war on citizens.
Well, that's yeah.
I've always wondered why people go into law enforcement in the first place.
A lot of them are just bullies.
Well, they're,
Bullies?
Yeah, they want to be able to carry a gun and drive cars fast.
Well, I'm sure there's some that want to
there's
take
gonna
care
be
of
an
people,
interaction
but
effect. I mean, some of them are going to be decent people who want to do public service. Some of them are going to be people who say, well, this is, I mean, look, why did the Irish do it? Because it was was a way to become middle class in a society that didn't accept that.
I didn't look at police very often until recently, since they've been in the news a lot. I was just getting off work last week. I was coming out of the Pacific Place parking lot, and this cop at the light puts his lights on, goes blowing through it real fast, stops all the other traffic, and he takes off. He's going south on 7th. Well, I'm going south on 7th. I get to the next parking garage. He's pulled over, having a coffee or whatever. He's not in pursuit of anything.
The mother duck would come out of the
Same
water.
police officer.
And all the little ones would follow
That's
her,
a little
and they
power
would
trip.
all hop up on this log.
Well, I grew up in LA
There was room, but
for much of my life.
swimming around and around and around.
There's a reason we
Finally
called
decided
those
to get out
LA
of the water,
cops
and there was
pigs.
no place
Pig,
so we
yeah.
could sit on top of the turtle.
I mean,
It was
there was those LA cops were scary. They were scary.
Yeah, so this homeless guy who they recently shot in his tent.
Oh,
Do you guys remember that, the video?
You know, the other day.
Shot
I
where?
was on
No, I don't know about
drive.
I don't watch
here?
it. I don't watch the
No,
video.
in LA.
Stopped and
Oh, in LA.
figure out what's
And,
going on. Two ducks walking across the road.
And they claimed that he had grabbed
That is
for one of the
cool.
he had actually
They
grabbed
play
one of
for
the
duck.
cops' guns. And then
There's no evidence.
they showed the and why they didn't show or release it to the general public is a good question. But they say
Where's my petition?
they showed the
Your
video
petition is,
to
Robin has it.
the reporters of the LA Times.
Well, if she
And
signed-
in the
if you
video,
signed it,
it only appears that he's moving his hand in that direction. He isn't actually grabbed for the gun. So it's distinctly different from what they claimed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just based on that, they shot him.
In other words, they lied.
Yes.
Yes, they did. Absolutely.
But they're trying to pass laws in some states now it's illegal to film.
Well, they can't pass that law because the federal law protects us.
Oh, but they'll still try to.
Or
No,
states
but
will do
that's
laws, they
not,
just have
no,
to
nothing
fight it.
protects us anymore.
No, we have no.
Nothing
no
protects us.
privacy.
In other words, we have the right to film, but if they stop us, there's nothing that'll protect us from.
We have the Koch brothers. Nothing protects us. Have you noticed that your rights are disappearing that you thought you had?
I actually haven't. I mean,
Well, we really don't have a democracy.
Yeah.
Well, the Supreme Court rules that the police are not out to serve and protect, they're just to
Supreme
enforce
Court
the
are
law.
undoing our
They
laws.
are
that
not
were
required
duly
to actually.
passed.
Jerry, would you like some
Right,
fries?
which is to me ridiculous.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
if they don't do that, then they're just an occupying force. They should be to protect us. I mean, in fact, our whole government should be for that purpose.
Okay.
So we have two issues. One
I'm
is
not the
separation of
tough
church
one.
and state, and the other
All my
is equal protection under the law.
Carbon tax thing.
Jerry. Or you pass it to Jerry.
It's Fatten Up Jerry Day.
That's a little too much. Anyone else want to do it?
Doesn't leave home only when he's out.
No, but I mean, if you look at where the bad guys are shifts. I mean, think about like the 1890s or the 1920s. Where were the thugs located?
1890s?
Yeah, or the 1920s. Where did you find the thugs?
I can't remember. I wasn't born yet.
We're talking about during Prohibition.
Right.
So yeah, we're talking about the.
Right. The thugs were on the street.
Oh, right.
Right. Okay. Now or like during the Kennedy administration, where were the thugs?
Okay.
In the mafia.
And now they're running.
Okay. Now where are they now? They're in the police department or in the NSA. Right?
Well, one of the reasons is that they tend to hire a lot of people who were in combat and who had a lot of militia training and were serving in the military. And I think a lot of those people, some of them may be suffering PTSD. I don't know, but that's the people they're tending to hire right now. People that may have some problems, with anger.
But not only but the job creates PTSD itself.
Yeah.
So how do we take our country back?
I don't know, but but the question was, how did you take it back? There have always been thugs running the country in some way.
Running the country or present in the country?
Somewhere. There have been thugs who have been.
I mean, we had Prohibition, which gave us the mafia.
without prohibition, we would,
Without prohibition, yeah, we wouldn't be where we are.
or was that a mistake? Understatement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Probably the biggest mistake we've ever made next to slavery. I don't know how you take it back.
Well, we're still dealing
I
with
don't-
slavery.
I don't see it on a day-to-day basis. I don't deal with it. I mean,
Did you, in that video,
When you
notice
use the
how
word
nonchalant
thugs,
he was after
I
he
see
shot
them
the
on
guy?
the
He just-
street at the buildings where I protect. I mean, I see them on the
They
street.
said they gave him CPR.
I see
but
people
they
break in.
didn't.
There's one woman who keeps trying to set fire to the abortion clinic in my
They didn't do
building.
anything except handcuff him after he was
Yeah.
already dead.
It's
Or he was
my
dead
my
or
favorite clinic
dying.
too,
And they handcuffed
Cedar River.
That's all they did.
Yeah, that's all
So
they
I
did.
see the
And
petty
then they dropped the
thugs,
stuff.
the ones on the street. I don't see them at the police level or higher. I mean, I read about that, but I don't see them personally.
Well, there was someone in LA who was also shot, and then
Oh,
there was
yeah.
a guy in Detroit,
Oh, the guy in L.A.
Walla Walla.
Guy in L.A. that they were chasing, and they knocked him off this horse. They said he stole the horse. He was lying, spread eagle on the
Yes,
ground.
and they start punching him.
Started kicking him. I mean, this one guy kicked him right in
Oh
the
my
groin. I
God.
thought, oh my God.
Yeah, like they
It
said
was
about
like
60
the
times
biggest
he was
kick
struck.
it was just unbelievable. And it was the
And they
first
were
two guys, and then it
basically-
was about six. They all piled onto this poor guy.
Yeah,
So this guy's disabled and they're kicking him?
and he was this was all being
He was
killed
on the
by
ground, splaying, spread eagle.
news helicopter. And you gotta wonder about these people who, don't they
What do
know
you
they're
think we
being
do about the
filmed?
Koch brothers? I mean, how in the
I
world
don't
do
know,
you
I
come
think
at something
their
like that?
adrenaline's just up, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
just in a,
And basically they were administering
A lot of
punishment.
them, a lot of
I don't
times
know.
they're claiming they
On the
felt
spot.
they were in
Right,
danger
and-
for their lives.
Can I read what's happening on Tuesday,
there's no
Jerry?
excuse, but.
We have to pass laws to get rid of we have to get rid of Citizens United. That's really, to get rid of the Koch brothers, that's the one thing.
Of course, it's already out there, but
Well,
needs
with
to
the
be
kind
down.
of, with the kind of, the things we have going on in Washington DC, I don't see how it's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna be a long-term process if it ever gets changed, because look at what's going on. I mean, there's so much,
So much money.
So much
in
money,
politics
yeah.
nowadays that it's hard to.
Right, since police are in the
Get it
news,
out.
I'll just read what's happening on Tuesday and you can tell me what you think. On April 14th, shut down A14, stop business as usual, we will not go back, no school, no work, say no more to the system, giving a green light to cop killers, endorse here. And then it gives a list of a bunch of people. A lot of these people are from Ferguson.
why are they up here?
yeah.
I don't
did
know,
Washington do?
I
just
was
wanna
just
know.
told yesterday, day before yesterday, that I have to go to work early on Tuesday because they're gonna shut,
Shut the city down.
they're gonna try and shut Seattle down.
Well, but people can, why don't you have people blocking them?
Well, the police will be out in force. They're expecting major problems, because they're expecting violence. They're gonna try and shut down, for example, Clyde's Properties has 3 buildings that I patrol. They're doubling up on patrols both inside and outside because some of them have medical clinics and some of them have brokers and, real financial businesses in there. They're expecting them to be firebombed.
It's only Sunday, only
So that
Monday?
sounds like
Tuesday.
anarchy. Anarchists.
The 14th. Yes,
Just want destruction.
actually on May Day,
Yeah,
May
yeah.
Day, they're expecting black, what's the name of it, black,
May Day would be
this black something, and May Day is gonna be another one.
the last May Day, the last 2 May Days, there were problems. And some of those people that were just down there, not even in the demonstration.
So
were
these are
arrested,
people who are
locked up.
protesting what we were just talking about, stop
Unbelievable.
murder by police.
Right.
So they're coming here to shut down all the streets and businesses on
These sound
Tuesday.
like people who are taking advantage
Right.
by
Right.
locking on, I don't,
Well, the Justice Department has given,
But
has
this is a
set
group that got a
sanctions on the
permit
police
for
department that
something
they
or
have to
not,
change
just
their
I don't-
outside of that.
I don't know, I haven't looked it up.
So
Okay, yeah.
that's one reason, but I think we're a town that's kind of known for protests.
yeah, but
Yeah, ever since the WTO.
Yeah, ever
But-
since the WTO. A lot of people came up from Oregon. for
Why are
that.
they,
Oh, people came.
basically,
yeah,
why
from
are they
America.
punishing
I'm going to their-
Seattle?
it sounds
What
like
did
they're
Seattle
taking
do?
advantage.
I don't know, I'm gonna go to their PDF
Well,
and see what it
They do
says.
it in San Jose,
It's publicity, right? I mean, you just get your cause.
It's a pretty big,
Where was easy?
West Coast city.
targeted at
No,
the
it's a
cities
West Coast
where
city.
there's
I
a
think
problem,
it's-
like Los Angeles.
It should
Well,
be.
but
Easy to cripple Seattle.
I was gonna say, I think Seattle has plenty of problems
Yeah,
with
we have-
cops. I think we have lots of
traffic
problems with
bottlenecks.
police brutality.
Traffic problem. Yeah, we
Stop
do.
Mass Incarceration Network. So it's Stop Mass Incarceration dot whatever.
But the question is my question is, who the heck is Stop Mass Incarceration? Who's behind it? Who are those folks? What are their affiliations? Who's supporting them? What is their agenda? That would be my question, and what are they getting out of doing this? Because it sounds to me like these people have an agenda and they're locking on to some event in order to gain traction for a cause that they have. That's
Well, I
what
think
my
they're explaining the
suspicion
cause quite clearly.
is. No, but you don't know if that's their cause because when
Well, I do know some about some of this kind of stuff, not exactly, but I mean, I am an anarchist. I'm a leftist anarchist, and I know what Black Bloc is, and that's what you were talking about.
That's it, Black Bloc.
Yeah, I know what Black Bloc is.
It's where they
Black
dress
Bloc
up in
is-
black, and then when
Yes.
they, in order to avoid being arrested, they take off their outer garments, and they're wearing civilian clothes, so the police, when they stop them, can't
Yeah,
associate a
identify
person with,
But why? Okay. So what you're saying is what I was saying. Okay. In other words, you have a cause that you're interested in, which is anarchy. So what you do is you see a current event and you attach your anarchy cause to that current event and
Well,
have an event.
Well, I don't know exactly what every anarchist is not the same. I mean,
No, you see what I'm saying? It's like-
I'm a mutualist, so I don't believe in a mutualist anarchist is a form of anarchist socialist, but some of the ones, usually the ones that do these events, like Black Bloc, are more connected to anarcho-communist, which I'm not an anarcho-communist.
Right. Well, that would be why May Day. Right. And I'm not saying you.
No, I'm just saying that.
I'm
I'm saying I understand.
Yeah, I'm not saying you.
Mutualists do not believe in violence. They do not believe in doing stuff that they believe in not waiting or not destroying the government and taking over. They don't believe in waiting for the government to destroy to take over. They believe you create mutual sharing and caring now inside the system. So in other words, you feed homeless, you go out and you do stuff, you fight for women's rights. It's more about like creating healthy environments inside the unhealthy system.
It sounds like the opposite of anarchy, though.
No, these people
Well,
have an.
no, it's
so
socialist.
You're
Socialist
confirming.
anarchists.
You're confirming what I thought, which is that these folks have an agenda. They see something and they're taking advantage of a current event or a series of current events, using that to further their own agenda. Okay.
possibly.
But it's still.
No, it's
I mean,
not
they're-
possibly. It's clear.
It sounds like what,
stopping police violence or whatever is the desirable agenda. So
it's
I don't,
desirable,
I don't
but
have a problem with it.
shutting down a city and
No,
making it
but
impossible
it's
for
not about
ambulances
the
to get into
police value.
hospitals
It's not about police. It's
kind
about
of
their
defeats the
agenda.
purpose
Yeah,
of your.
I know. I mean, I guess I just.
It's about
wonder
their
about the-
agenda. It's not
Also,
about police violence. It's
Noam
about
Chomsky's
their
idea of-
agenda.
Well, I would say that I agree.
don't know.
To
I
me,
mean,
as a
it's like,
mutualist,
well-
though, I say I'm not against Black Bloc. I'm against the fact that they do violent things. They don't
Right,
always
yeah.
do violent things, but
Yeah.
they're like I've seen before where if someone with a Mercedes goes by, it's possible they key the car. I would never support that.
Damien, do you support Noam Chomsky's version of anarchy?
I like Noam Chomsky, but he is a syndicist, so he's a little bit different than I am. He believes syndicist is like unions take over all government. Well, I like unions, but I certainly don't want them to be the government. Biggest as a mutualist, because that means only people that make money are in power. Where I think that everyone, whether you're crippled and make no money, whether you're homeless, whether you're rich, everyone should be equal to me. So it's not. A lot of these are other anarchists that I kind of agree with, but some of how they structure things also, like the communists, they want to get rid of money. The mutualists don't want that. Mutualist says money is not wrong, it's how money is used is wrong. In other words, a rich person is a mutualist to me. It's offensive that a rich person can get a 1% loan or use a credit card at a price so low that it's almost free money, and then a poor person pays 30%? And this isn't considered to be, well, I'm new to my point. I'm just,
At those payday loans, they'll pay.
yeah, but regardless, I'm just saying.
I thought it was 400%.
Well, I'm regardless. I'm saying.
Or even more recently in the news, I don't know if you guys follow Elizabeth Warren very much, but the whole issue lately is that, banks can borrow money much lower, one of her causes, than student loans.
Student loan, yes.
It's like, so we're going to charge our kids more than the banks have to pay when they're making billions.
Yeah,
It's
she's,
like, oh
she's
my
right
God.
about that.
Right,
It's so insane.
But so what I'm saying is that, a mutualist believes in a government bank that's for nonprofit.
Yeah.
So that gives out loans and stuff at the lowest possible, that only supports the people working there. That does no profit.
Yeah.
It's funny that these payday loan places are primarily located outside military bases.
That's right.
You go down to Tacoma,
That's right.
they are all over the place.
That's right. And in the poor
Yeah, what
neighbor, in the poor
My
neighborhood.
point is that this is not about the cause that they're listing, because whatever cause would have happened, they would use. This is about furthering the agenda of the group. That's why they're in Seattle. Okay, they're traveling from city to city. This is not about the cause. Okay, this is a group that is using whatever agenda.
Well, possibly, but it's hard to know what it is until it's actually in the news and.
I kind of wonder what their goal is. I mean, if you shut down a
Their
city
goal is to
and then
further
it's
their own
over.
agenda.
But what's
I know,
the
but-
end result of the event when it's over?
There's no result. The result is to make noise for themselves.
Just make noise.
To draw attention to their own cause and to get people to join their cause.
So the measurable outcome is not to improve anything.
To draw people to
I
their
would
cause.
think that they would achieve the opposite goal,
Yeah.
that they would just make people very angry and annoyed because they couldn't get to work or couldn't get to their doctor appointment or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that they should be protesting, but not closing down things. No,
Yeah, it's like protesting is not enough. They actually want to
No, I know.
shut down schools and shut down
I know
businesses.
they're not like me. I'm a mutualist. I would protest, yes.
So they're anti-authoritarian, yet they're using their own authority to shut down other people they happen to disagree with.
Yeah, like I said, I don't agree.
That's a little corrupt.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that hard to shut down the city.
But some of the people that are anarcho-communists, to me in general, communists.
Anybody want to be my bodyguard on
No,
Tuesday?
anybody who holds an event like that on May Day is making a statement. Because May Day
Call in
is
sex
the
dot.
People's Labor Day.
I won't be able
That's
to.
Call in dead.
established by.
I've used up. This is Scott. I've used up all my sick leave, so I'm calling in dead.
And if you use that day, that's making a statement.
Right, and I support socialism, so I would definitely be in support of
But-
protesting on May Day.
But basically,
But I'm not
it depends-
destroying people's
but
property.
it depends on what kind of a statement you're going to make. If
True.
you're going to do that, or are you going to have people come together and do activities that support labor? That's what May Day
yes.
is. Labor Day.
Yes, I agree. Like I said, I'm not for people that go out and attack and bomb. And all. That's ridiculous.
It's Proletarian Day. That's what it is. Right? Proletarians, like, taking back the means of production, taking it away from the Koch brothers, not creating
I have
anarchy.
a test on my hands.
Well, I think there's a difference too. To me, the difference between the word anarchy and anarchist. Anarchy is the lack of any control, and anarchist is a political
I've been
movement
in so many
that believes in the lack of hierarchy.
in traffic.
So it's not the same thing. Anarchy is like just. And also too, some anarchists.
Go back and forth across I-90.
Some well, democracy can be the power of the many to oppress the few. And, so well, I took a test and I'm 87% Democrat. I agree with most of the stuff.
What's the other percentage?
What's that?
What's the other percentage?
Well, I'm 7% Republican, so that's almost nothing.
Where do you get that
I've
test?
got some sprinklings of libertarian.
Yeah, so my biggest thing is about hierarchies. I don't believe in hierarchies. Hierarchies are classism. I don't believe in structures. That includes, I don't think marriage, family, everything that goes out. There's society, the government, the culture. I believe in everyone's equal. I don't believe in nationalism. I don't believe in America.
But you recognize that it's like a natural human trait to want to put people in categories.
Right.
I mean, it's just a natural thing.
But see,
it's hard to overcome that and say, put everything.
But we can do it in hierarchy. We can do
Mammals.
We can do it in a
It's
hierarchy,
mammals.
which is a form
Not
of
human.
social organization, is what you're talking about. We can have social organization without having hierarchy. In other words, we can both work, and I can have skills you don't have. That doesn't mean I have to be better than you.
Right. Or under me, or
Right. Like in counseling, because I have a psychology degree, and in counseling, we can be equalitarian, even though it's certainly not an equal relationship.
And that was going to school.
But but one of the ways that like in counseling that you do it is being very open. I say, this is what I'm doing. So it's not me with all the power, and somehow you are just waiting on every word I say.
Okay, I just want to make
empower
sure that
it.
you weren't saying that, we shouldn't have any categorization, because it's like, it's
No,
impossible.
not any unfair categorization.
Right, okay. Yeah,
So it's to be
enough,
fair,
yeah.
unfair, unjust.
Yeah.
So like when people say to me, I really get irritated. I'm an anarchist feminist, which is a little bit different than a standard feminist, but anyways.
This does look like just a big publicity thing.
But one of the things that is different is, see, when
what
someone
they used to
says,
call
well,
a
a
publicity
woman is
stunt.
weaker than a man, I'm saying, but it irritates me. Tell me that all men are the same, so
come
if you're
down on
older
Tuesday
and you're
and
no
be my
longer
bodyguard.
strong, or you're no longer a man, how about if you're
my body-
crippled? Are
is
you
that
no
a
longer a
song?
man?
Right,
So is Stephen Hawking no longer a man?
right.
It is.
So, I mean,
It's a pulse.
so to me, it's that is a fallacy
You can be my bodyguard.
about power. That power matters.
On Graceland.
Power is not
Diamonds on
equal.
the soles of
And
her
even if it
shoes.
was, so
Yeah, but
we're saying that
it's
the
from
strongest
Graceland.
men are the
Yeah,
only
from
men, and
Graceland,
everyone
and
else
it's
is
got
below them.
lasers
So
of black and
intellect.
bombs
In
in
our
the
country, it's more like the rich guys are the
Well, true.
She's got
powerful.
diamonds on
I'm
the
just
soles of her
saying,
shoes.
It's a different
but
song.
that's the statement.
Oh,
I hear
it
it
is?
all the time.
You can
Well,
call
women
me
are
Al.
weaker.
You can call me Al.
Well,
Yes.
men are weaker. I'm bigger. Should I be the powerful? You know? Does that mean I automatically? I mean, to me, it's a
Maybe
complete
that's the name
fallacy.
of it.
It should be to
call
be
me Al.
And
equal.
then
Is
he's
it?
got Chevy Chase in the video.
Oh God, Chevy
Mouth-
To be
Remember
equal, I always tell
mouthing
people,
the
to be equal is a behavior. It's how we treat others.
And then with
They don't have to somehow
coming
fit
and
a
going.
status for that to
That's
be
your new
okay.
theme song there.
Whether
Oh
you're
God.
old, whether
Yeah, until Tuesday.
Anyway.
Tuesday's going to be
Preaching to
a
the
long
choir,
day.
but yeah.
Call it dead.
well, I have to fight all the
it's like
time with
literally-
atheists on my Facebook because I say I'm a feminist. They're like, oh wow, feminists are.
I can call it and tell them
Terrible.
I've been kidnapped and
Like,
I'm being
They're
held
like,
to
oh, they're
ransom
just
in
women.
Canada.
Well, I'm not a woman. I'm a feminist, so
Yeah.
your argument is not very good.
No,
oh
no.
well.
We're demanding 400
well,
pounds
there's
of
women
hashish.
feminists that don't like you, and I'm like, there's a bunch of atheists I hate, so I don't know what that really
Yeah, you
proves.
should ask these atheists. Ask these atheists to name one prominent female atheist who is not a wife of a prominent skeptic or atheist.
Amazing, with the little face, oh my God, couldn't resist that face.
But a lot of the atheists hate the women. They're just.
They're misogynists.
I know they are. to me, I have a couple friends that were on that men's rights movement. I said that to me, that's just sexism. They're like, well, there's women's rights. I'm like, no. Women's rights are fighting for rights. Men's rights is saying that they're fighting against feminism.
No, but there's also men getting in touch with their feelings rights movements, which I think is a...
But to me, that's still feminism because I have the right
Men's rights associations.
Yeah,
Those are the guys that are trying to.
they're not getting into no feminine thing. They're pushing their man.
Yeah.
They're not pushing what you're saying. They're not saying we have the right to be, more sensitive. Hell no. They're doing the exact opposite. We have the right to watch football.
No, but I think the guys
I have the right to watch Mr. Rogers.
The guys who are going out and sitting in sweat lodges and doing that, I think that's fine.
Stop this crazy fucking
Yeah, but-
planet. I want to get on it.
Well, I think men being gay, men being transgender, men being female, I think all of it's fine. Men being strong is fine too. Men being powerful is fine. The thing is that our society says only the ones that are powerful and strong and manly are fine, and control of women. Just think of it like when you call a guy a name, you call him a pussy. Basically a woman, so or something to do with the woman. You call him, when a guy cries, you don't say, don't cry like a little boy. You say, don't cry like a little girl. Well, don't cry like a little girl. So the worst thing to be is to be female. So
Yes,
to me, that's
yes.
why we need feminism, even for men, because we need to be able to just be men, which means that we are human, that we have feelings, that we have
There's that song,
feminine
Big
traits.
Big Boys Don't
When
Cry.
you insult a woman, you use female terms. You know, like the worst thing you can say to a woman is don't be a
Runs like a girl.
Yes. Or
Yeah, well,
that's
or a
pretty
slut
good
or a
for a
whore.
girl.
Insults a woman, you say she's like a man.
It's
I
stigmatized.
usually say a slut or whore. You usually.
No, but a bitch is a female dog.
How come there's no male equivalent for slut or whore?
Because men are taught that sex is okay, women are taught that sex is not okay.
Women are objectified and infantilized.
But the point is that even if we could make women equal to men in that state of sex, most people wouldn't want it. I mean, I think it should be. I think women have sex 1,000 times with 1,000 people or one person. What is the difference? To me, none. I hate all that stuff. And just like I think that there's nothing wrong too if people want to not have kids. You want to have kids? Perfect. You don't have kids? Perfect. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be
I'm
celibate,
exercising my right.
but to me, all statuses are equal. And if you want to be celibate, good. If you want to have tons of sex, good. It's like, who cares? It's all equal. There's no shame. Now, if you're doing stuff that takes away the rights of other people, to me, then there's shame.
Okay, but you're talking about stuff that you believe, all right? Okay, now we put your head into an fMRI, okay? Now, your head is going to come out different than somebody else's head, which is got a different set of genetics, and those people are conservatives. Their brain is going to look different, okay? Their genetics are going to be different.
Conservatives have brains?
Right.
know
But
that.
you know, you are who you are because you got a set of genetics and a history, and somebody didn't beat you the fuck up when you were doing
Well, see, and I would stop you right there.
Or whatever.
Number one, I was raised in a religious cult.
Okay,
Hold
but
on, let me
okay,
finish.
no, but I'm
You
not
brought
saying.
up-
Okay, I'm not saying about you personally.
Please don't touch me.
Okay, listen to me. I'm not saying about you personally. I'm saying that whoever you are is not because of your opinion. You are who you are because of your genetics,
No.
your biology,
Okay, so instead of telling
your
me-
experience.
Okay, you don't know me, so
Well,
let
you
me.
don't know me either.
But I'm not the one telling you who you are.
No,
You're
I'm not talking. I'm saying
you said you're listing all
generic.
these.
Generic. Okay, I'm not. Okay.
You're listing all these
No,
things
no,
of who I
you're
am.
being defensive.
I'm being defensive for saying you can't define who I am
I'm
without
not
hearing what I
defining you. I'm
You
saying.
said I'm genetic.
Look, okay, I'm genetic. Let's put
No, she's
my.
attempting to
Let's
list
put
some of the
my
things that
damn
we go
head in the
into.
fMRI. Okay.
Listen,
We're gonna put
hold
my
on.
head.
So, but hold on. I have the right to talk to you. So you said, right? You said that I have not experienced abuse. That is totally
Okay,
false.
no, I was trying to
I have a
be.
broken tailbone. I was hit with a fucking 2x4.
Okay, I was hit too, all right? So, and I'm still a liberal. All right, so, and so was he, okay? So, let's back off of that one. There are a lot of people have really, my mother is a Holocaust survivor and she's still a liberal. But there are a lot of people out there who have different genetics who come out of that experience in a different way. And when you put their brains into an fMRI, you see a different set of things happening from whatever that is.
And as a person who understands psychology, where you come from does not define who you become. In other words, I can counsel someone who is a drug addict, no matter what country, no matter what thing, and use a relatively similar theory, because we all are emotional beings. Whether your genetics are somewhat different, unless you're a psychopath or a narcissist. But then again, it's a thing that we understand. How you help? I didn't say it was simple. How you help a narcissist is to make them get beyond themselves. You make them go to group therapy, and then you have them not talk the entire time. Except when they talk, they have to explain everyone else's feelings. So that's how you do. But what I'm saying is, we can take a person who we know that has a problem. There is a solution. Now, usually they don't want to go because they're like, if I can't talk about myself, I don't want to go. So, but if you can get them to go, the solution is universal. That you have them go, and then everyone now explain how Robin's feelings were.
Okay, you're talking non-stop, and you're not listening to anybody else.
Where do I already? It's my favorite place.
Okay, all I was trying to say is that there are some predispositions politicians.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's come together with some environmental stuff, and you are not going to be, your experience and your givens are not going to be like the next guy's. And that guy is not going to be like you because he's not going to come with some of those givens, all right? So, you know, it's like you can take somebody and put them through your therapy, and he's not going to come out the same because he's going to have different givens. And so it's like we can't make everybody the same and equal.
Well, to me, everybody, as I already said, equal is a behavior. It is not a state of being that people have to achieve. So it doesn't matter to me if someone's old or crippled or female or gay or straight, or the fact that they're you know, from another country. To me, or they have different thinking. You can treat everyone equally because equal is a behavior. It is how I treat others in a decent and respectful human manner. It doesn't. You don't have to fit a category. I choose to treat you in a way that is respectful because you're a fellow human and you deserve to have rights. It's about value, and it doesn't require you to fit a status. You can remove your own value by having, you know, horrid behaviors, but it's not, your innate human value has not changed. You don't become a value of a dog. You stay a value of a human. Although your systemic and extrinsic behaviors may cause me to not want to be, you know, near you, or because if you're, you know, in the government, you're causing, you know, harm to people. Then your systemic thing is causing harm in a way that has to be removed from the society. But you still value people. I don't think people who go to jail should be murdered, you know, and killed by the state. I don't think they should be beaten and tortured.
I agree, but like, how do we change Sarah Palin's mind?
Well, I don't try to change people's mind. I require people. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. No, it's but see, okay, you're saying it's a lost cause. I'm saying we take a brain like that and put it in the MRI. It's going to be really different.
Okay, in counseling, I don't try.
That's okay.
So
no.
Well, this is what I would say is I don't try to change your mind. I try to incite you to change your behaviors. Your thinking may not change, but we can change your behaviors. So
I'm in counseling.
yeah.
It's good stuff.
So I mean, you're saying it like we're powerless, and I see that the power is because we don't have to take your power. I don't have to take your power. I can change your behavior and not have to.
Okay, but if you're going to change Sarah Palin's behavior, you have to take away her freedom.
No, you just have to take away that she has a public, you know, presence, and we do that by not voting for her. I mean, she has a right to say nonsense.
Right, but you're not going to change her mind.
I never said I wanted to.
Okay, you can change her behavior, but
I want to change her behavior.
Change her behavior, you have to take away her freedom to act on her mind.
Well, I don't think that she's done anything so.
Interesting experiment to see what you could do with Sarah Palin.
But I don't think that you. So you're saying take away someone's freedom. What is she doing that requires that? Now, if she's not killing people, your freedom. You've violated someone. You deserve to have your freedom removed. The good of the people. But I mean, she hasn't gone out. She's just done things that are offensive and thinks offensive things, and it's kind of stupid. But I don't see that as something that requires her freedom removed. I mean, like I said, I think that she shouldn't have any political power because she's dangerous.
Okay, let's say she says things that are hurtful to groups of people.
People have the right to say hurtful things. To me, in other words, no one has a right to not be offended.
Okay, let's find some. Let's think of an example.
I mean, we have the right to feel offended, but we don't have like some innate dignity to not be offended. Because if that's true, we should be offended all the time by all kinds of stuff.
Robin is our photographer.
Well, I think that they're committing crimes, so they should be in jail for crimes. But not they're thinking. I'm not a thought police, so I don't desire to change people's thoughts.
All I'm trying to say is that I'm
like,
looking at this from an evolutionary perspective.
Right, and there's valid thing of adding that to other things.
It's not an add to. It's a primary. It's a base.
I don't agree.
It's at the bottom.
It's a add to a lot of different types of thinking. I think it's, for me, to use that as the main thing, I think that to me is just it's an overstep of what an evolutionary thinking would understand. It should be added to stuff as another aspect or a lens to see things. It shouldn't be the thing itself. In other words, like a map is actually, you know, an example of what the train is. It's not the train itself. I think that using evolutionary psychology or understanding in general is a map that helps us see things. It doesn't do everything. It should help us guide in how we see things. But to me, to use that as the only thing is an overstep that I don't agree with.
It's not the map.
You know, like even in my family,
It's the
something, you know, people just didn't used to talk about the diseases.
instructions that are right on.
What killed my dad.
But the environment's not inherently doing anything. It just is.
It does.
So
It acts.
Open house.
You are a result of instructions plus environment. That's what you are.
I got a look.
well, plus experience, plus we're also emotional beings.
Experience is environment.
But
But you're talking about innate things like the DNA and stuff. That's a different category of evolution. Is a different category of the DNA is not
A little
innate.
bit of one, but then I
DNA is
coffee
not
went away,
innate.
so it must be
That's not what innate is.
So what does it do?
DNA is innate is a duck following its mother. When it's that's what the word innate.
No, I'm talking about an intrinsic part of the person. So your biological stuff is an intrinsic part of who you are, as you were talking about.
Okay, there's very little of that in a human being. What you are is a result of the instructions
Software.
plus the act of knowledge. Instructions can't happen without the environment
is 93 right now, and he's still serving in the Georgia
or
State
experience.
Legislature.
Are we talking about nature versus nurture here?
No,
To me, it's both. So it's not either
Serving in
or.
the legislature.
Oh,
Serving
I don't
in-
even know what that is.
that's
It says he'll run again.
how you are created.
He hits a good
You
ball.
can't,
He does a lot of good people.
it's why a rhesus monkey raised in by a wire mother and a sloth mother doesn't reproduce well.
Right.
Okay, because it doesn't have the
Bird
experience.
was one of the oldest serving.
epigenetics is when something happens, the DNA of your ancestors that affects your behavior.
Right. Epi meaning the end of or the final.
No, it happens in this lifetime.
I think
Isn't
zero.
my choice.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's not,
I
that
was
wasn't
gonna
what I
say, who else
understood
do we
it to be.
have? I mean, it's like I hope we have.
Well, there's this guy
Not
that
an
was the
expert.
governor of New York or something. What's his name?
I helped a Russian refusnik family settle here, Pentecostals. And at the time I was sort of an agnostic, but I told them that I was a believer because I wanted,
You believe in diving, don't you?
I believe in cold water.
Cold
I told them that I was a believer because DSHS hired me to be an interpreter for this family. They had just arrived here. It was the famous Siberian 7 family that had jumped the U.S. Embassy in Moscow in 1978, and they lived in this little room in the embassy for 5 years before they were. And so I helped them settle here in Puyallup. And the mother and the
I can
father.
never pronounce it.
I was over there
What?
the other day. I volunteered.
Yeah. I didn't realize it at the time, but all of the children, all of the offspring of these two Pentecostal believers,
She would still.
there's something they all have in common that's not allowing them to succeed here. Religion is just a symptom of what's wrong. They don't fit in. They have a problem following the law. They have a problem establishing long-term relationships. There's all kinds of problems. And unfortunately, the father died a year after they got here, and I was working on fishing boats up in Alaska at the time, so I was about to go out in January to work with the Japanese for 3 months, and we went to the doctor because he had this something wrong with his stomach. And we go in, this gastroenterologist puts a tube down there, even has me look, and I can see all these red spots everywhere, and even I can tell, I've never looked inside his stomach before, even I can tell there's something wrong. So he gave the guy a couple bottles of Maalox and said, come back in 3 weeks, I'm going to refer you to a
And so they're
Gastro?
gastroenterologist and a
The old system is Motorola,
oncologist.
and the new one will be.
Well, I told Peter, I'm gonna be gone. I'll come back in May, so you gotta go get this done.
Because the way they've
I come
set
back
it
in
up,
May.
it'll be an assessment on
He
the
goes through,
property.
he's been going through like 2 or 3 bottles of
The way they've
Maalox
set
a
it up
day.
is that
Hasn't seen anyone because he doesn't trust anyone else.
If the economy goes down again.
So we finally go in and he gets the death sentence because the cancer had spread to his liver and everything, and he died in October. That was May.
And so the police will be taken care of.
The thing that I've noticed about these people is that what they all have in common, besides being genetically related, is they don't trust anyone outside their little circle of friends.
We'll endorse it.
They don't form friendships, their marriages often fail,
So
and
I imagine that
It's not really a good trait, is it?
and they believe in a very, very narrow subset of belief. Even American Pentecostal Church is too liberal for them.
So they'll probably have to run it again, and every time they run those elections, it costs,
Anyway, I thought that was related to the genetics thing.
Seattle is having other things on theirs, I think, but because they have city council positions and other things, but I think ours is the only
That is really strange.
emergency system.
Yeah, it was depressing being around them because it was like being around people who I could predict what they were going to say. I knew what they were going to talk about, what they were going to say. It was like being around a scripted family.
Percentages of this and they make so many cents here and there. It'll add on about $25 to your property tax bill
That was really strange.
Horrible,
for a year.
Yeah.
Redmond has.
And it's funny, they left the embassy. They got exit visas for everyone, including their dog, their Siberian wolfhound. And they went. They did the youth. They go to Rome. They make a left turn. Israel turned them down. They wanted to go to Israel. Israel said no. Yeah, no, Pentecostals.
A lot of them.
But very defensive. They're kind of like John Voight. You mention the word Israel and they just start crying. Yeah. The Israeli immigration people probably could tell that there was something wrong with these people.
Closer to a couple $100 a year.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I know. And supposedly part of it is replacing things that are expiring, but they never break it down that way, to say what is expiring.
They probably would have accepted if they were Jewish.
To really say
if they've been Jewish, if they'd been Jewish, they would have had the right to immigrate. But if they were Jewish, chances are they would be.
Well,
they probably wouldn't be Orthodox.
And find out who
They would
you
probably
talk
be
to.
Reformed or Conservative.
Surely would be somebody
Or
at
they
City
would
Hall
be Orthodox.
Or they could be super
They
Hasidim.
would be
Explain that kind of
Orthodox.
stuff, but
But Israel would never turn them
Totally
down
rigid.
because you have the right of return.
News about it, and then I got my ballot in the mail the other day.
Oh, they have that?
Well, Israel has that for all
The
Jews.
thing that kind of concerns me is that
But that's because they
it
want
seems like, with the housing prices
many as
rising
possible.
so
they
fast,
want as many Jews as possible to return
the prices on everything
from the diaspora
groceries
because they want to
and
build up the state of
utilities
Israel.
Well, that's
and
not the only reason. The other reason is
and all
because
that
you have
kind
the
of
right
stuff.
to return.
It just seems like everything is being geared to toward those people that are on that upper level.
It's called
that can
Aliyah.
afford to do all these things.
Aliyah, that's right.
And not everybody
I
can.
have a couple of atheist friends who made Aliyah,
Concerns me.
but they live here.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you spell this word?
Becoming much more
Aliyah,
expensive to live
A-L-I-Y-A.
on the east side
H.
than anywhere in
H.
Seattle.
Aliyah means coming back. Does it mean coming back?
I think so.
Yeah.
lot like
Return.
Allah.
No, no.
I still think my home is
Aliyah.
the
Aliyah.
cheapest place.
Rada made
Yeah,
Aliyah.
and then, and of course, once you get to a certain age,
Aliyah.
you can freeze your
Aliyah.
property taxes, right?
Yeah, I'm taking this class at Telus. A friend of mine is teaching, and he pronounced it Aliyah, and I'm going.
It's Aliyah. Yeah. Yeah, her husband Guy is Israeli. She's Russian from thank you, from Estonia, not Estonia, Latvia.
Right.
That's funny.
I do.
He pronounced
like 10
all
minutes away, I'm on
the
Kirkland,
words
close
wrong,
to the
all
Kirkland border. I don't know if
the
you're
words
aware
wrong.
where
And in fact, he
is.
pronounced some of the English words wrong. And then John said to me, "Is he Canadian?" And then we figured out he was
So,
Canadian,
You
and
could
that's
say
why.
you could say that he put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Oh, absolutely! It was really weird when he was like, "I'm going like, why is he? He's educated man. He was a PhD. Why is he pronouncing?"
He's very educated.
Yeah, it was
That is
really
bizarre.
weird. But apparently, that Canadians pronounce a lot of these things differently.
And
Canadians.
wherever they went to eat.
Canadia.
And she always remembered who was
Well, I love going to Canada.
and that's the reason.
But the most amazing thing is when you get up there, there's Canadians everywhere. They're all over the place.
I know.
Surrounded by
And
them.
it looks like a different country.
I know.
It's so strange.
And they speak English with this weird language.
I know, they
kind
say
of
funny
oot and a boot.
things. Yeah.
That all about.
What's that all about?
Yeah, and they say things like, eh.
Oh, but you can buy Kinder eggs up there, and they have absinthe.
all that, but you can't
And
even
what
get
else do they
boats,
have?
you know,
Oh,
but
Canadian Tylenol, which you can bring across the border.
Tylenol's worthless.
Kirkland was kind of.
There's research that confirms that Tylenol's
That's
not
not
worthless.
true anymore.
Oh, really?
Got a
I
can.
go to meetings in downtown where the old original schoolhouse
can you
was,
trust
it's now a
anymore?
community center.
yeah.
That whole area is just changing.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Building, all those big buildings down.
So tell me again what you teach.
I want to go to Israel.
Eventually, when they change those one-ways to be two-way
But I teach-
again,
I'm
I
a
think that's gonna help a
quantitative
lot.
scientist,
Oh,
but I'm like
Traffic flow and all
really,
that, but until
Just
that
to see it,
happens.
just to
really
be there for a couple of
biologically
weeks.
grounded.
Same reason I want to go to North Korea. I want to see it, but especially because I think North Korea is going to eventually
I
go.
teach at, right now I teach at Northwestern University.
Oh, you got
And
regular.
I teach
How do you manage to teach in Chicago?
I mean, I don't think it's.
Even for now, it's like you think you
and
know
I
what
teach
telos tell us.
Israel's not going to go away, but I think North
I
Korea
teach
is.
at
Israel's not going away. I want to see it for cultural reasons. I want to see North Korea for historic reasons. It's the only remaining Stalinist regime left, and I want to see what it's like. I mean, 3-4 days is all I need.
So my recommendation is that you read some
The
social
one thing I would do,
psychology.
I would try to evade my handlers
I have.
and travel about.
In fact, I use anthropology and archaeology for my book that's going to be coming out soon.
Hey, you got a book
Yes.
coming out?
Yes, I do.
What's it going to be called?
Called The Tree of
You have
Lies
a
and Its
handler,
Hidden
and your
Roots.
handler has a handler.
Exposing the evolution of religion and removing the
Yeah, it's
rationale of
amazing.
faith. And I start religion archaeologically at 100,000 years ago. And I show all
Are
the
you
art.
self-publishing or?
Yep.
I have a friend who's an expert.
Yep. I already paid $5,000 for it.
They're replacing the whole
You can do it for a lot less. You can do it for $500, but I'm going with the subsidiary Simon and Schuster. It's called Archway Publishing, but they yeah, it's more. You can actually go right into Simon and Schuster, or they could look at my book that I have and never even self-publish and just buy it right out from under. So it's a lot different than like some a cheaper version of self-publishing. I wanted to.
Is this your first book?
It's my second book. My first book is called Taste Your Emotions. It's a Taste Your Emotions. Yeah. It's a self-help and autobiography poetry book of my life. It starts with suicide and ends with hope and love for everybody.
That's the cynical.
I did copy editing and I used one website and I saw something come across from a man that I know who is a mega narcissist.
Yeah.
And he has lived sort of an insignificant life. And so he's advertising himself, and I knew it was him because I recognized his first name and last initial and the town he lives in. And he says, I'm getting ready to publish a major memoir.
Well, I'm one of those spoiled people who goes.
Narcissist!
Yeah, self-fulfilling too. So you have some knowledge about suicide?
Our point of view.
Well, I didn't commit suicide, but I basically was doing it with drugs. I had my heart stopped at 15 for smoking crack, and I had my liver fail in alcoholic hepatitis at 17. And that's when I quit drugs and alcohol. When I almost died, puking blood, 103 temperature for 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, I think I have a little bit of a problem with this addiction thing.
Wow.
But I came from severe abuse. I even had medical neglect. I mean, I had starvation, abandonment.
But you mentioned specifically suicide. That interests me because I have a lot of friends who committed suicide.
Well, I thought about suicide, but like I said, I basically wanted to do as much drugs as possible, as much alcohol as possible, as constant and as just to oblivion. So it was.
You wanted to obliterate yourself.
I wanted to not be alive. It wasn't about getting like high or anything. I just
How old
wanted
were
to.
you
Was I what when I
when you
first?
did this?
I quit at 17. I've been sober for 26 years.
I mean, it's like we've even taken the bus for
clean and sober for 26 years. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink.
I owe you.
Like I said, almost dying. I mean, when I was in I was this big, strong guy who could fight people, do whatever, and here I am, I'm laying in a bed. And I can't even go to the bathroom. I didn't go to the bathroom in a week. I didn't drink water for 3.5 days.
We were joking about both.
And I didn't eat for like 28 days, and my eyelids started sticking to my eyeballs, so dehydrated.
Have you lost many friends to suicide?
Have I lost any suicide?
Do you know somebody who's committed suicide?
I did have a friend that committed suicide, and I also had a friend, more than one, that died from gang violence. I'm from California.
Yeah.
Where in California?
I'm in Orange County. Well, I was born in Long Beach, and I lived in Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley, Santa Ana, Irvine. I lived in Mission Viejo. I lived in Laguna Niguel.
Say San Jose.
I lived in San Diego, down in La Jolla, and I lived in
La Jolla.
La Mesa.
La Jolla.
So I lived in,
Been there a few
I didn't
times.
live like in one
Scripps
place.
Institute is there.
So I say Orange County, I lived a
One of
little
my
bit
first
in
Soviet
San Diego,
countries.
but mainly Orange
La
County.
Jolla. You think we have some hoity-toity people in the U.S. like Southern California? In La Jolla, California, the worst,
And I lived in
crummiest automobile I saw was a 1-year-old Mercedes-Benz. Everything was upscale from there. I was driving around a car. I couldn't believe it. Tiny parcels of land that start at $4 million.
my first house in Irvine.
Unfucking believable.
I went to high school. I went to elementary at 6th grade. I went to Northwood Elementary, and then I went to Rancho Junior High School in Irvine, and then I went to University High School in Irvine. And I was kicked out, and I went to Self High School, which is a continuation school
Well,
in Irvine.
your recommendation to
Now they
move
call it Creekside.
Goldberg's meetup has vindicated itself.
I graduated. The only reason I graduated is because I got off of
Yeah,
drugs.
I haven't been yet, but it's double
If I would have stayed on drugs, I wouldn't have tried to
I was there
graduate.
in the 80s.
So,
Big room.
yeah, we may have to get more tables.
Graduate school in the 80s.
Yeah, I graduated.
I was talking to Bob last night. I reminded him. He said, "I haven't gotten a reminder." And I said, "We're on meetup now." And he goes, "Oh, that's right."
The freaking meetup.
Yes. Well, the advantage is we're growing by leaps and bounds without trying. The disadvantage is we're going to eventually get a troll, and it won't be somebody we know. It won't be somebody like Abby. It'll be somebody we don't know. And I said the only thing we can hope is it'll be a Christian apologist we can have fun with, especially for Bob. But if Abby comes, well, she won't. She wouldn't.
To what?
To our Goldberg's meetup.
What's that?
It's a bi-monthly dinner we've been having for the last year or so, and I just a couple weeks ago moved it to meetup. So it's public now. It's called Goldberg's
We have where we
Goldberg's
Intellectual freedom.
Goldberg's Intellectual Freethinkers Dinner. We meet every other Friday.
Why Goldberg's?
Well, we tried a bunch of places. In fact, we were going to Cheesecake Factory in Bellevue a
Goldberg's
lot.
is the deli.
Goldberg's Deli in Factoria. We were going to Cheesecake Factory in Bellevue, but two problems. The service was terrible, and they kept trying to poison Jerry with cilantro. So, I mean, yeah, I know. Despite our best efforts to protect Jerry, they really did their best to kill him. So we decided rather than let them assassinate Jerry, we would move it. We tried several places. We decided on Goldberg's. So that's where we meet. That's why it's part of the name.
Do they have matzo ball soup?
Yo, you better believe it.
Oh,
You want to
I
come?
would go for the matzo ball soup.
So go on Meetup and do a look for Goldberg's Freethinker. And
Probably the only
our next one is Friday the 24th.
Probably cross-post that shouldn't.
You wouldn't mind if I came here?
It's open to the public. We would love for you to come. I've seen you before. You're not a troll. You'd be welcome.
I can be a troll. Do you want me to be a troll?
Come be a troll. Come troll my meetup. I'll bring a born-again Christian we can have fun with.
I'm his troll.
on any given day at 6:30,
I'm not letting him off the hook.
if you have commuters lane. Because
Nor should you.
so they're actually going to have another lane.
Hey, you should come to our meetup.
He told me.
Peak hours.
That's why I was talking so much, because I was giving him.
If you don't have 3 people.
Yeah, they have kosher and non-kosher stuff. They even have halal.
Special pass
Really?
that you
Yep.
can have. But
I have a friend in Canada, Jamie Kelly, who is obviously not Jewish.
When they were initially talking
Sounds
about-
Irish.
He is, but he's up in Vancouver, and he's been battling cancer for many years, over and over. And his last time, and he's of course after battling cancer, your hair doesn't grow back anymore. I mean, your hair just does all this weird stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not that. He's I don't know, maybe my age. And he walked the Camino the last time he came out the other side. So he's been out maybe a couple of years. And so one of his latest activities is baking bread. And so he bakes bread like 3 times a week. And so he's discovered this cookbook, and it's about like getting your hands into bread, and it's this really neat cookbook. So one of the things he discovered is baking challah, right?
Yeah.
That's already been
And
like,
of course, so there's this like atheist guy up in Vancouver baking challah, right?
Yes.
So he takes pictures of his challah, and everybody's like clicking like on it, And you know what challah is?
No, there won't
I
go
thought
on
it was
the
a type of meat that is blessed by Islam.
ALLAH. Right, it's almost a palindrome.
It's
Okay, so he's baking this challah. So
It's not a
it's a
blessed.
loaf of egg bread that's got 2 breaks, and it's like this long. You've probably seen it. It's
So
like
you're not talking about the Muslim kind of meat? I thought halal.
You're thinking of halal.
Almost
You're thinking
sounds
of
the same.
halal.
no, challah is a loaf of bread. A yellow loaf of
Probably
egg
the reason they
bread.
sound similar.
And it's got like
Yeah, I'm
sesame
generous.
seeds on top, and it's brushed with butter, so it's kind of brown.
Yum.
Your mouth is watering.
I'm getting fat just thinking about it.
Right. Okay. So he's up there. So there's this guy up in Vancouver.
So if you just happen to have like
So this guy up in Vancouver who's baking this bread is therapy, and he's gotten into the challah. So the first night of Passover, he's baking. He posts this like loaf of challah, right?
Yes.
So it's like everybody's cooking like it. I go on there and say, Jamie, you are the only person in like in North America who has baked bread on the first night of Passover when every other Jew in the known universe has swept the crumbs out of their house and are eating unleavened bread.
Yes.
And you have baked challah.
either on time or to pick up
And
somebody.
then everybody else is in there. He's a member. I'm in the Oregon.
Yeah.
In the
I know, that's right.
international Oregonic community, and he's a member of that. And
Go have some challah. All goyim are
it
welcome.
was just really funny.
Unfortunately,
It was.
yeah.
So he's baking challah
Yeah.
on Passover.
God, I haven't had challah in years. You know about the Seattle the secular Jewish meetup?
on your
No, but isn't
as
it
a
about
percentage
kids?
of income.
I do know
It's not
about
necessarily about
it.
kids.
I
It's
heard
for
it was
everybody.
about. I heard it was about. My impression is it's about getting bar
so you can tell Kate.
mitzvahs for secular
The
boys.
sales,
I'm willing to
Basically.
I'm willing to pick her up. I just, like I said, I have no desire
the
to go out of my
registration
way
fees
to
and all that kind
like
of stuff.
push myself on her. If you know if she wants to, I've done it before. I'm willing to do it. But
Great, thank you.
Isn't that kind of what it is? Bar mitzvahs for secular kids.
I never thought of it as a bar mitzvah. I thought it was just because it's so secular. It's like, here's a lightweight introduction to our culture and our history, and sample this and have a little bit of that. Would it kill you already?
Transportation department didn't have any money.
And it's nice.
So then they
go?
decided to add,
I've gone a couple of times. I haven't gone lately. It's been a few years.
which not only penalizes the
It's
people
nice.
penalizes poor people more than it
Yeah,
does
because it's a
rich
flat.
people.
Wants me to test
Robin, how much time do we
It's
have?
non or it's,
Oh, yeah.
test my blood
And
sugar.
the end of the world added taxes to
Oh,
alcohol and cigarettes.
Until all subatomic particles stop moving.
You're
That's
closer to the clock than I am.
Regressive tax, yeah, that's the word.
what's the
But anyway,
1706
so after his success with that,
New Mexico? What is that?
every year.
It says
he would have
1706?
2 or 3 things trying to.
That can't possibly.
When it was founded.
But New Mexico was founded in 1706. Wow.
This has been awesome, Jerry.
What time is it?
It's booting up.
It's HTC.
I turned it off.
Maybe you have somebody else.
All right, well then I can.
What did you say? Did I miss something? I'm sorry, it's demanding action.
So challah is a bread, and halal is a method of preparing. It's the
ALL.
Muslim edition version of
Everybody
kosher.
Hillary Clinton
That's what I thought.
announces that
I didn't know exactly, but I thought it had something to do with
Did she know if by
She announced
tweeting
bless
or
her
by
prayer
tweeting?
meetings.
I don't know, I just got a CNN.
Oh my God,
live in
I want to
Redmond.
jump off this
And
bridge
did you
into
know
that
that,
water. It looks so
No,
perfect.
we
It is
were here
12:41.
one of the first ones here, so we were just
One of my favorite bridges
No, no.
is the bridge over Reception Pass.
I think
Oh,
it's
God,
her
it's
the
a
second
we
time.
should have a meetup up there.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty wild.
I could get a big van.
That's a wild place.
I could get a
And where do you
bus.
live,
I could get a
Jerry?
bus driver. We
We
could
all
all go
use
up there.
Oh, okay.
You have to get a legitimate.
But I started this group when I lived
Currents
in
up there are wild.
Kirkland.
Yeah, but guess what?
Oh,
Twice a
okay.
day. There's no currents.
Scott,
So we're continuing.
Huh?
Yeah. And
let's leave
you-
at 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or you haven't
accept
tried
it.
to like see
And
if
do you
there's
wanna
like-minded
carpool?
people closer to you that have like an additional one maybe,
Really?
or-
Just haven't gotten around to
Should
it.
meet up with them.
I was gonna say,
Well, we
but then
do
it costs
his,
money.
we do his Goldbergs.
I have the
What's
idea of
that?
a picnic,
What are
an atheist
Goldbergs?
picnic.
Goldbergs is.
It would be. This summer.
Deli, Jewish deli.
Oh,
Jewish,
Oh, I see.
famous Jewish deli.
It's located.
Blaine.
I thought you were calling.
That's a little too far
a different
north.
group or something.
It is, well, the name of it is Goldberg's Intellectual.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Goldberg's
Intellectual
famous
free-
deli.
No, but the name of the group.
The name of the meetup is
Intellectual free thinkers.
Oh, Goldberg Intellectual
Here's a
Thinkers
card to
Dinner.
my group.
It forces
It occurred to me, that the first couple of people that complained
Nice to
about
meet
the
you.
location,
Like,
See you
it
again.
didn't occur to me to say, there's a reason why Goldberg's is part of the name.
I have to write down everything I eat.
We took us 2 years to
Just
find a
the
decent
act of
place,
writing it down will,
Goldberg's,
cause
go
you
figure.
to say,
That's where we're
"Well, that-
meeting.
Absolutely.
Just the act of writing it down.
It's in Factoria.
Isn't that
Victoria Mall.
amazing?
Yeah.
How the
On
mind works?
the,
It works.
on the east
So I ate
side,
nothing, and so we're good.
same side
Right
of
near the main parking area.
All right.
Same side of the UFC or whatever,
see us.
safe
John?
or whatever the
It's right next to
Ready to
Red
go?
Robin.
next to
Okay.
And right next to
finding a parking
Stone
place.
Creamery.
is-
Cheerio then.
which I heard is owned by an anti-gay group. Cold Stone Creamery. Go look this up.
Goodbye, Damien.
Okay. Shalom. See you soon.
Shalom.
Anyway, it's tucked back.
Do you know
Closer
that
to some,
I learned something else?
car repair
That, there's
places,
some
and
words
usually
in
we have to park
Spanish, like the word
across the street at the mall.
have you heard
kind
that?
of
Ojalá, yes.
Get in
Is
there.
actually
That's gonna
from
be the area.
the time of the wars, and it contains the word
park
Allah.
That's right.
You can park it back in this.
Ojalá. I gotta look that up. Thank you. That is awesome.
Victoria, there's a
I've always wondered about that word.
Goldberg's.
Ojalá means oh if only or I wish.
I never.
But it's not a conjugated verb. It's a special phrase all by itself.
Goldberg's.
Yes,
Goldberg's,
it's very idiomatic. So that's my next meeting.
I know.
Goldberg's Intellectual.
Goldberg's Intellectual Free Thinkers Dinner.
Can we meet again?
Swerve safely.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Swerve safely.
His wife drives.
Tell you what to swerve
Not
safely.
at all.
I have a ride.
Shelley drives.
And remember, the loaf you save may be your
All
own
right,
buns.
bye.